You know, it's interesting when you go to these hospitals. Once you get into them hospitals, they feel like they own you. It's slavery. They'll almost make it feel like that you don't even own, or they own you, or they own your family when you go in there. And they try to get you when somebody in your family can't speak, if they ill or they impaired. You see what I'm saying? It reminded me of when I was at the hospital. They just, some of them probably will try to make you feel like they know more about your family members than you do, but that's a lie. And somebody hit me up one time. I was in a situation to where they had a home and health nurse came by. They already came in with a fucked up attitude and feel like they can just come in there and talk to you any kind of way. So if he talked to me in a kind of way, I can say that he was more aggressive with me, lied to my family, told my family I was more aggressive or whatever. Then somebody else called me and said, "You better be careful doing that. They can come in there and take your mama, and ain't nothing you can do about it." I said, "Hold it, first the fucking ball. Number one, no, I didn't say. Well, I didn't tell them that. I just said, over in my grave, or over my dead body. They'll have to do that while I'm not while I'm alive. That's the only way they'll be able to have to do that, because that'll be one time I will stand up for my people. Hell the fuck no. Because number one, I say, number one, I came out that person's womb. That's my the womb that I derived from. That's not your flesh and blood. That's my flesh and blood. That's what I came out of. So you're not going to come and take nothing that I don't want to hand, that I'm not going to hand over to you, which is against God any damn way. You see what I'm saying? When you put your people in the nursing home, and I know the vast majority of people probably gonna disagree with me on this end, but that's all right. But when you put your family members in the nursing home, that is a form of handing Christ over, though your Lord and Savior, to be crucified. That's exactly what you're doing. You are no different from the people that handed Christ over to be crucified when you put your own family members in the nursing home. Yeah. Do y'all know that's biblical? Let me show you. St. John 19. Oh, I came right to it. Okay. That's what's up. Okay. The Bible. Okay. Oh, excuse me. All right. Let's look at this now. Matthew's chapter 19, and let's start at verse 1. Then Pilate therefore took Jesus and scourged him, and the soldiers planted a crown of thorns and put it on his head, and they put him on a purple robe and said, "Hail, King of the Jews!" And they smoked him with their hands. That means they slapped him. Pilate therefore went forth again and said unto them, "Behold, I bring him forth to you, that ye may know that I find no fault in him." See, when your family member is a child of God, and you know they're a child of God, and you put them in the nursing home, you are no different. And what the point I'm making is, most of the time they don't care whether you're a child of God. They don't care. as if they feel like it's going to interfere and succeed with their progress, at that, if they got a selfish mind and heart, yeah, they're going to put you in the nursing home because they're going to say, well, I got to work. I ain't going to be able to do it because I'm working and all that type of stuff. You know? So let's go and let's skip and let's go to verse 12. St. John chapter 19, 12. And from henceforth Pilate sought to release him, talking about Christ. But the Jews cried out, saying, if thou let this man go, thou art not Caesar's friend. Whosoever maketh himself a king speaketh against Caesar. They overlook God. When Pilate therefore heard that saying, he brought Jesus forth and sat down in the judgment seat in the place that is called the Prophet, but in the Hebrew Golgotha, Gibbet, Gabbat, and it verse 14, and it was the preparation of the Passover, and about the 6th hour, and he said unto the Jews, behold your king. But they cried out, away with him, crucify him. Pilate said unto them, shall I crucify your king? The chief priests answered, we have no king but Caesar. Then delivered he him therefore unto them to be crucified. And they took Jesus and led him away. It says, and then they delivered him therefore unto them to be crucified. Let's read that again. Then delivered he him therefore unto them to be crucified. And they took Jesus and led him away. That ain't no difference from putting a person in a nursing home. It's the same thing, because they're going to crucify your family members in a different way. You're no different from those who is guilty of releasing Christ over to be crucified. They are the ones, after the insurance company pays, they will keep you animated until the insurance drain. Whatever they was trying to say, yeah. They are only after the insurance companies paying. They will keep you animated until the insurance drain. That's true. That is so true. And you know it in your spirit. You see what I'm saying? You know this in your spirit that they try. Let me give you another example. Because see, like I said, oh man, I am so overwhelmed and I am so blessed, really, is to have this mindset, man. And to have my mother still in my life, and the person that I derived, the womb that I came derived from, oh man, that's the person that took care of me when I couldn't take care of myself. My father died in 89. So, he had passed away, so he couldn't, we automatically know he couldn't, what I mean? He couldn't be in our life like that because he had deceased early and stuff like that. But I do have a couple of uncles that's still living around and stuff like that. I didn't get a chance to meet, because what's so strange, I didn't get a chance to know a lot of the people on my father's side as much. You know what I'm saying? But let me go to that scripture And I'm gonna show you further. When you excuse me, when you put your people in a nursing home, this is what's going on. Look, think about it. That's biblical what he just said, though. That's interesting. I'm gonna read that one more time. They are only after the insurance companies paying, they will keep you animated. I hope I said that right. Animated until the insurance drain or something like that. Okay, I hope I said that right. Let's go to Matthews 2 and 6. Let's read it. This is about Herod, the Roman ruler, right? Herod. Let's look at this here. Let's read verse 1. I was going to go to verse 6, but I'm going to start at verse 1 to get the full context too. Get some more, get about two contexts. Now, when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod, Herod was a Edomite. Herod was this is a Caucasian, the modern day Caucasian. Herod the king beheld there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and are come to worship him. When Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled. He was troubled. I mean, he was afraid and all that type of stuff. And all Jerusalem with him. Because, see, you have to understand. Why would it say Herod was troubled? He was troubled. Why would you be troubled? You should be happy. Now watch this. And when he had gathered all the chief priests and the scribes of the people together, he demanded of them where Christ should be born. And they said unto him, in Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it is written by the prophet, and thou Bethlehem in the land of Judah art not the least amongst the princes of Judah, for out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel. Then when he had privately called the wise men, inquiring of them diligently what time the star appeared, and he sent them to Bethlehem and said unto them, go and search diligently for the young child, and when ye have found him, bring me word again that I may come and worship him also. And when they heard the king, they departed, and lo, the star which they saw in the east went before them until it came and stood over where the young child was. And when they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy. And when they were come unto the house, they saw the young child with Mary his mother, and fell down worshiping him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts in gold and frankincense and myrrh. And being warned of God in a dream. Now watch this in. Being warned of God in a dream. Now I want y'all to get that. Being warned of God in a dream. Now think about that part now. Now I'm gonna go somewhere with that. Being warned. Now why would a warning come? Now think about it. This is about Christ being born, right? And being warned of God in a dream. Now see, one thing about the Most High, when you're a wise person, he always lets his people know what the hell is going on and with a conspiracy with these people. And being warned of God in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed unto their own country another way. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, arise and take the young child and his mother, and flee unto Egypt, and be thou there until I bring thee word, for Herod will seek the young child to destroy it. Think about this. Think about all of these things. They feel like they own you in hospitals. This is no different from this time. This is the same time we living in. Where they after trying to kill the chosen people of God, the Israelites, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native American people. All of this is in the Bible. It's prophecy. It says, arise and take a young child and his mother and flee unto Egypt, and be thou there until I bring thee word again. For Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. Why would he try to destroy that Hebrew child? Christ is a Hebrew. Christ is a Jew. He's a Hebrew. And when he arose and took the young child and his mother by night and departed unto Egypt. Now think about it. That represents not putting your people in a nursing home, because you already know these people is trying to seek your family members is to kill them. Think about that. Let that dissect for a minute. We let this. What I'm trying to tell you, that all of that is prophecy. It's prophecy that they would do this here. It's Bible prophecy. All right. And when there until the death of, and let's read this over. And when he arose and took the young child and his mother by night and departed unto Egypt, and was there until the death of Herod. He had to wait until the death of Herod to God come in there and destroy these people that's trying to kill his people. Because the one thing about it, when you try to kill God's people, you're not going to succeed. You're not going to succeed in what you're doing. You ain't going to get away with it, even for having the thought that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken of the Lord by the prophet, saying, out of Egypt have I called my son. When Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men, was exceeding wroth, and sent forth and slew all of the children that were in Bethlehem and all the coasts thereof, from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had diligently acquired of the wise men. Then was fulfilled that which was spoken by Jeremiah the prophet, saying, In Ramah there was a voice heard, lamentation and weeping, and great mourning, and Rachel weeping for her children, and would not be comforted, because they are not. See that? Did you get that? I don't think y'all got this hint. Y'all need to go back and just go read, people. Then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men, was exceeding wroth, and that means he was mad, sent forth and slew of the children that were in Bethlehem and all the coasts thereof, from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had diligently acquired of the Lord, the wise men. Then was fulfilled that which was spoken by Jeremiah the prophet, saying, see what it's saying is spoken, is Bible prophecy that through Jeremiah, that this was going to happen, that God's chosen people will be sought by the Caucasian people to be killed. All of this that you see in the hospital, how they trying to take off life support and killing our people and stuff. And God came to Joseph in a dream and told him is to take the young child and his mother, because Herod would seek the young child to destroy it. And when Herod saw that he was mocked of the wise men, he went and he sent word and had all of the male children killed from 2 years old and under. This is what they're doing in the hospitals, people. Only to our people. You see what I'm saying? Look, man, anything in the Bible, everything, I can go into this book and prove anything I want. Anything you want, anything. There's not nothing that's going on here on this earth you can't get it out the Bible. I guarantee you that. Yeah, of course. You know, Esau trying to kill our people, man. Let's go to Psalms 83. I read it in the New Testament. Let's go to Psalms 83. In verse 1. Psalms 83, 1. I bet you I'm right. 82, 83. Psalms 83:1. Keep not thy silence, O God, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, that they that hate thee shall lift up thy head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. The hidden ones is the Israelite. They don't want you to know that you are Israelite. They don't want you to know that. It says, verse 4, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation. Why would it say them off? It didn't say everybody. Let us cut them off. That's the same witness that Matthew, Levi, was speaking of in Matthew. St. Matthew's was talking about. St. Matthew's, which was a Levite, and David is a witness to the chosen people being killed. What they trying to do? It's a conspiracy, people. Hold on, I'll be back. Hold on, wait a minute. Let me put this thing on mute. Hold on, wait a minute. Let me put it on mute. Yeah. I'm back now. I should have turned my camera off like this. This is what I should have did, turned that off. But yeah, man. Yeah, man. I'm just sitting up here just thinking, man. Yeah. So that's what happened, man. It says they have said they have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. The hidden ones are those that are not recognized as Israelites. They don't want you to know that you're Israelite. You know, they have said, "Come and let us cut them off from being a nation." Cut them off from being a nation. So that's what they're doing in these hospitals. Because, like the guy said, whoever that was, it's all about insurance companies paying. They are only after the insurance companies paying. They are only after the insurance companies paying. They will keep you animated until the insurance is drained. Wow, that's right. Keep you animated. Okay, let's see here. What does it mean to be animated? Animated can mean being full of life and energy, like a person with a lively spirit, personality, or it can refer to something that is moving or appearing to move, such as a cartoon or a video game scene. It is also used to describe active, engaging discussion or activity. They will keep, they are after the insurance companies paying. They will keep you. Let's look up, okay. Oh, hold on. Let me spell that. Maybe I haven't looked it up right. That's what it was. What is the meaning of ADMTTED? Confused to be true or be in case, typically reluctant. Okay, hold on. Let's go down and let's see if being animated means a person has been formally granted entirely acceptance into a place of group or program has confessed something. The specific meaning depending on the context, such as being animated to admitted to a hospital as as an inpatient, being animated to a college university as a student, animated a mistake. It's got to refer to something wrong. Hope all is well with you. Yeah. Uh, okay, I hear him say they are only after the insurance companies paying. They will keep you inanimate, animated. Am I saying that right? Inanimate until the insurance is is draining or something like that. Yeah. See, what people don't understand is that all of this is in the Bible. When they try to people dying in the hospital, then people ain't just dying. Do you know that's biblical? That's biblical. It's all biblical. It's Bible prophecy. God knows everything. He'll show it to you. Just like he showed Joseph that Herod, which was a Edomite, a white man, was going to try to kill Christ as a little born baby. One thing about it, when if you're God's child, He gonna always warn you and give you. God always warns His people. Let me show it. Matter of fact, let's go to what's that scripture? It's in the Old Testament. It's one of the minor prophets that spoke it. Amos, the book of Amos. Wickedness is increasing. That's right. Whoever you is that said that. That's right. And you can feel that shit too. I mean, you can sense it. You know it. Amos. I think it's Amos through, let's see. Joel, Amos, yeah. Amos 3 and verse 7. Here we go. The Bible said, I try to pray as much as I can. That's what's up. Amos chapter 3 and verse 7. The Bible says, surely the Lord God would do nothing, but he revealeth his secrets unto his servants, the prophets. God gonna always let you know. That's why my mother is not in no so-called nursing home and going to them hospitals and stuff like that. That's why I'm right there at all time. And I try to ask as much questions as possible. And people don't care nothing about you in them hospitals, man. They don't care. Just like Michael Jackson said, the song that he made, we can see the fulfillment of that song that he said. They don't really care. All I want to say is they don't really care about us. And I seen right here in North Oaks in Hammond, Louisiana. That's right. Right here in North Oaks Hospital. I don't like to call it North Oaks no more. I like to call it North Killer. Because our people, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans do not stand a chance in that in going to North Oaks Killer Hospital. That's right. Man, them people don't care nothing about you in that. We are a cursed people and are powerless. Yep. People tell me all the time, they'll try to say, oh, we free. You living back in, they'll make it seem like when you talk about slavery or something like that, they'll make it seem like you haven't let go of the past and all that kind of stuff. They try to want to make you shove things on, just try to push it under and like try to eliminate it or eradicate it from your mind and all that kind of stuff. But that is no different from it's nothing wrong with talking about slavery. It's nothing wrong with it. They'll try to make it seem like it is. You know why? Because that you'll be surprised why a lot of men ain't came forth and said that they was touched and molested me. All of this shit came from slavery too. So don't get it twisted. All that shit came from slavery. There's a reason why our people is involved in that type of stuff. Because it's generational curse and that shit came from slavery. That's when the slave master used to try to make the black man sleep with the white woman and force the black man to sleep with the white woman. And if he did, they would make a punishment, a penalty out of it. They don't tell you that though. And they also would make a young man have intercourse with his own mother. Yeah, they did that. And all this shit was forced, and it was forced up on our people. Because before the Europeans came over here, our people was not in our natural state. Our people wasn't doing that. They didn't have no reason to, because they didn't have nobody to come and do that, because our people was in their natural state. It's just like a lion. and a tiger. The only way to get those lions and tigers and get and detain them, and them tigers and lions, the so-called white men have to shoot. They shoot stuff in them animals, some kind of whatever they put in them, in order to be able to subdue them animals and get them out of their natural state. Because that's the only way they can deal with them, is try to subdue them by getting them using certain things to get them out their natural state. Because they know if they're in their natural state, a lion and a tiger's in their natural state, the so-called white man would not go there fucking with them animals like that, because they know them animals will eat their ass, tear their ass into 1,000 pieces. That's right. Solomon say all is vanity. They ain't gonna mess with you in your natural state. So they had to, in order to fuck us up, they had to use things to get us out of our natural state. Just like a hot pot, a hot pan in the oven. You ain't gonna be able to go there with your natural hand and handle that heat, that flame hot pan. You're not. The only way you're gonna subdue that pan and get it out that stove, you got to have mittens or something on your hand to keep your hand from burning the hell up. Right? You got to have something to keep your hand, protect your hands, right? Because you can't go in there and then mess with no heat in its natural state. You know that. So we are like heat to them. And the only way they mess with black people, Hispanic, Native American people, they say, oh, in order to subdue these people, we got to get them out their natural state and dope them up with something else and confuse their mind. That's the only way that they can do that. But in a natural state, no, you can't do it. That's how they're able to probably to steal animals and stuff. They go there and they have ways they can go there and put chemicals in them animals or make them sniff something and make them fall asleep. And that's how they can subdue them and get them to do what they want. So you ain't just gonna walk up to something while it's alive and it's in its right mind, natural state, and mess with it. You get your damn arm tore off. Yeah. So this is the same thing that women and men, they feel afraid to come out because people have shamed them into saying, oh no, don't talk about this, don't talk about it. They're ashamed because people are gonna come out and say, no, I don't believe that. Nobody ain't gonna believe their story of what they saying. They're gonna, or they made it up. Oh, don't talk about that. Don't come on here with that. That's the same way it is with slavery. Our people have been brainwashed and messed up by slavery, but they're ashamed to come out and talk about it because they don't want to lose the benefits. They feel afraid to be shamed, and they don't want people to come at them and humiliate them and say, oh, you saying all this here, now you ain't gonna get paid because you sat up here and said some shit about the so-called white man and the white woman and child. You getting on here talking about homosexuality, you getting on here, oh no, you messed up, we're gonna take your benefits from you. And they're afraid, oh, you better not say that because they can take your account down. Get the hell up out of here with that stupid ass shit. Nobody care about none of that. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it is when it comes to slavery. They're trying to convince the woman or the man that they're wrong for saying that they've been touched and all that type of stuff. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And this is how they try to shame you into not talking about slavery. God loves everybody. God loves it. They tell you, they trying to water it down and they want you to sit there and pretend. I tell you what, then, if you telling me that we stuck in the past, what about George Floyd? George Floyd didn't get killed in 1939, 1905. Back, it wasn't in 1920 BC. That's just happened in 2020. What about what's her name? Sonia Max. When she said she rebuked them police in the name of Jesus or whatever she said, and them people shot her because she realized she let the damn devil in her damn house. She realized they was demons. But when she realized they was demons, it was too late. The fight is not carnal. I don't know what Uh whatever put that in context when you say the fight is not carnal. Give me some more context on what you're saying. Yeah, they went into a house. This just happened last year. This ain't happening no 1920, 1949, 1966, 1980, 1921. We ain't talking about them time. We in the 2000s and this shit happened. So what are the people talking about? When they try to say, oh, we not slavery days is over with, it ended 150 years ago. What are you still stuck in and doing this here, and you still hung up on the past and all that kind of stuff. You have not learned to heal, and you get peace. The way you heal, you got to learn to forgive, and you got to have peace. And all the only way you get peace is not for them. It's the peace is for you. Well, guess fucking what? George Floyd can't say he got peace. Sonya Mans can't say she got peace. Sonya Mans can't say she got no damn peace. Because guess what? You know why? Because she's DEATH. She's dead. So how she can't say it. She got peace. So that's what I ask, what are you talking about? And then when they say, oh, we're not living in slavery days no more. That's over with. We're free. We're in the country. We're in the land of the free. I tell you what, and you know what I tell them? I say, I tell you what, and I'm not encouraging people to do that. Go home, take your that 2025 sticker, whatever, out your windshield window, that sticker that goes that on 2000, you're up to date, that keeps your insurance up. Take it off, then take your screwdriver and go and screw that license plate off the back of your car. Take your license, burn them up, melt them in the damn fire, and get out there on the road and drive and take that license plate off of that. And when they pull you over, just say, "Oh, it's done. The laws are done away with." I thought they're gonna look at you. They're gonna look at you like they're looking at a damn ghost. Like who? They're gonna be like, "Who told you that?" Now again, you see what happened. Say we live in land free and take your driver's license and take your insurance and all of that, your insurance out your glove department and keep it in your house and say, "Oh, I don't need that no more." Walk out here and say, and you're gonna see just how free you is. You say we free, right? Okay. Get on the road with no driver's license. Buy your car and get on the road and say, "I don't need no driver's license," and see what's gonna happen. And there you got your answer. Them white folks, them so-called, them Edomite, the white men, Esau, the so-called white man gonna show you what time it is. You're gonna find out that day you ain't free. You walk around with that mentality if you want to. But they'll walk around here and tell you that God's law is done away with, when in essence they'll still punish you for the same crime you denying and saying they won't do. And they'll punish you if you got out here on the road with no driver's license. But they telling people, convincing people that your God done away with your law, which they're lying. Make it make sense. How can you say God's laws are done away with, and let the so-called white men convince you, lie to you, and tell you that your God, the Hebrew God, the God of your God of the Bible, did away with your law, which he know he lying, and you accept what he say. But if somebody walk up and say you don't have to stop at the stop sign no more, they gonna look at you like you crazy. Yeah, they're gonna look at you like you crazy. I'm familiar with that scripture, very familiar. Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 7. Surely oppression will make a wise man mad, and a gift destroys the heart. That means when they give you something, a white man can walk up to you and give you a what you call that? $1,000,000. That changed their whole perception about, oh, see, all white people are not the same. I don't care what they give you. My grandfather always used to say, I don't care how good so-called white people is to you, don't you never think that they love you. Don't you never feel like in their mind they don't, because they don't. Okay, when you say I can hear it in your speech and spirit, context it for me right quick. I can hear it in your speech and spirit. Context it for me. Write it in the let's see here. Because I know I just read, surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and a gift destroys the heart. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and a gift destroys the heart. That's right. Okay, you mean like being mad? Yeah. When I look at it, if you are mad and angry about, which I do, like when I go into the YouTube feed and I see the so-called white man telling our people pointing, when I see them pointing guns at our people, that shit pisses me off. It really do. And I says this here. The only way they're gonna stop, we got to stand up and stop them. We got to stand up and stop them and demand them to stop. Because think about it. When they took this country, when they colonized, went all over the world and colonized Australia, different countries, Jamaica, Puerto Rican, the islands of Puerto Rico, Spain, all these different countries and stuff. Guess what? They didn't ask for them. They didn't ask for them. They conquered. They took it. Everything that they got, they took it. Yeah, they took it. They ain't gonna ask you for nothing. They don't come up and think about it. When they had the last time have the so-called white man, woman, and child came up and asked you for what they want? They ain't gonna say, "Do you mind if we use this gun on you? If you're doing, can we use the gun? Are we okay? Can we use these guns to do what we need to do?" We're asking you. No, they're not gonna do it. That's why they call it law enforcement. They force you to accept. That's why you think that our people follow Halloween, Thanksgiving, and all those different holidays and stuff. And our people defend for it because they forced that upon our people. That's why they call it law enforcement. Hold on. That's why they call it law enforcement. Pointing guns at you. That's a law. They're using those guns to enforce what they want. And anytime it's a law enforcement, that law is not of God. I am waiting on Yah. Pay the rest of it on the day by day, case by case. Sometimes we gotta let Yah fight, and other times was able to fight. Okay, I agree. I mean, I can tell we never was violent though. Like if you think about it, we've been saying this for 500 years. Like they say, forgive, forgive, and forgive, right? How well have this worked out for us in 2000, so-called 2025? They still shooting our people down in the streets. We'll be 500 more damn years repeating the same shit, and we'll be done died off, and we'll have a new generation come, and it'll be 700, 800, 900 years, and they done repeated the same shit. We repeated, and we'll be in the ground, and it'll be 700 plus years, more years, and they've been and said, "Oh, we repeated, our ancestors said this in 2025, And here it is 700 years later, and people still repeating the same pattern. And you look around, and generations ain't got no better. We'll still be repeating. That's how you look at it like this. And well, people say, I think people use that as a manipulation to say, oh, no matter what they do, you still love them, you still do this, and you still do that, and this and that and third. And we'll be in 2100, and we'll still be where we was in 2025. And you be like, how well has that worked out for us? I see brothers and sisters being careful, following the rules, and still be getting hurt by them. Yeah, man. I mean, how well has that worked out for us? And we'll be 500 more damn years in the same condition that we've been in, our people been in, and we'll be, the only difference is we won't know a damn thing, because we'll be in the ground, and then we'll have a whole new generation of our family, children, and generation constantly repeating the pattern, just like they repeated the pattern of killing our people, hanging our people, and modern day killing Sonia Mass. That ain't nothing but a repeated pattern from their white forefathers that actually killed our people back in the day. It's just a repeated pattern, and that thing is still effect in 2025, just like they killed Sonia Mass in 2024. And this is in 2024. You ain't talking about no years ago. You ain't talking about no centuries ago. You talking about modern day killing. And this wasn't back in 1920, 1940. This is just in the early 2000s. Of last year, Sonia Mass lost her life. And that's what I'm saying. We'll be in 2088 in the same condition, talking about repeating the same pattern. You die, and then we have a whole new generation of teenagers saying the same thing, repeating that stuff. And it'll be 700, 800, 900 plus more years. And it'll be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It'll be 1,000 years of slavery done went on down. They repeating it, and it'll be 20 more damn years, 2,500 or 2,500 more, whatever more years, and this whole pattern will still be repeated. It'll be a constantly repeated pattern, and things ain't got no better. And we'll be in the ground, and things are still not going right without it. They constantly doing the same, repeating the pattern, just the cycle just going on and 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 on. Let me show you something. I read it. I don't agree with everything in here, but this is called Patriarchs and Prophets. I'm gonna read. I'm gonna go into let's see here. Seth and Cain and Abel. That's the one I'm looking for. Cain and Abel. Abraham, Cain, and Abel tested. Let's go to the beginning of, okay. Cain and Abel tested. It says, here, I think this is it right here. It says, to Adam was given another son to be the inheritor of the divine promise, the heir of the spiritual birthright. The name Seth given to this son signifies appointed or compensating. For, said the mother, Cain had appointed me another seed instead of Abel, who Cain slew. Cain represents Esau. And watch this hand. Seth was a more noble stature than Cain or Abel, and resembled Adam more closely than did his other sons. He was a worldly character, following in the steps of Abel. yet he inherited no more natural goodness, talking about Abel. And then did Cain, concerning the creation of Adam, it is said, in the likeness of God made he him. But man after the fall begot a son in his own likeness, after his image. While Adam was created sinless, that means perfect, in the likeness of God, Seth, like Cain, inherited the fallen nature of his parents. So when we walk around here and we say, well, I forgive you, I forgive, we inherited the same stupid slave mindset, developing with this like Stockholm syndrome. We still developing that same mindset of, yeah, I forgive you, and this is a stupid pattern that's being repeated, constantly being it's a recycle thing. It's not it's a perpetual means. A perpetual means none ended. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Ephesians 2, we wrestle not against flesh and blood. Now, when it talks about flesh and blood, I can give you the context of flesh and blood if you want. Let's go to flesh and blood, because we have to realize that the other nations is not included in that. According to Romans 9, let's go and read it, matter of fact. See, I know how to context these different scriptures. I'm not the smartest person in the world, but I do know how to context, and I ain't bragging, but I can context. I can go to the right, correct context of that. Romans 9. I'm glad you did that. Romans 9 in verse 1. I say the truth in Christ, I lie not. My conscience also bearing me witnesses in the Holy Ghost. Now watch this in. That I have great heaviness and continual sorrow in my heart. For I wish that myself were cursed from Christ for my brethren, my kinsmen according to the flesh, who are Israelites, to whom pertains the adoption and the glory and the covenant and the giving of the law and the service of God and the promises. The service of God was given to the Israelites. It only pertains to the Israelites, because it says, who are Israelites according to the flesh. It said, for I wish that myself were cursed from Christ for my brethren, my Hebrew brother, my kinsmen according to the flesh, who are Israelites. Israelites is the only one that is obtaining for the adoption for the Israelites. When you talk about the adopted sons and daughters, that's talking about the flesh. Is talking about the flesh and blood of the Israelites that is of a natural descent from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. My name is Sarah. My name is Sister Atera. Am I saying it right? Atera. Nice to meet you. Oh, okay. I thought, okay, I'm so used to the brothers coming in the chat. I'm thinking that it was you was a brother, but I guess I'm getting it mixed up. You be so used to, you know what I'm saying? My name is Sister Atera. Am I saying that right? Because I didn't really do good in school. I had a poor education. Matter of fact, you looking at a man that couldn't even read and write. You looking at a man that couldn't even read and write at one time. That's what you looking at. When my mother had me in the hospital and everything, my mother's in there. She had a stroke last year. I said, no, I refuse to put my mother in the nursing home. Hell the fuck no. Over my deceased body, that's the only way. Somebody hit me up one time and said, You better be careful how you talk to them nurses. They can report that and have them come in there and they can take your mom out of there and blah, blah. Somebody told me that and then nothing you can do about it. I said to myself, I said, I be damned. Open-minded, I have to be deceased. Because that'll be one time. Oh, hell, it'll be hell will break. No, hell no. Yeah, that hell no. I was damn near cussing some people out about that. Man, I got shit, man. I'm not bragging or nothing, but hell, I was damn near cussing them white folks out about my mom, man, them Edomites. Hell no. Hell no. You ain't killing my people. If God don't take my family life or my mother's life, you ain't gonna do it. You so-called white people in the hospital. No, you ain't gonna do it. God don't have to say so of who life can be taken and who can't. It ain't for me and it ain't for them. Hell no, none of my people. And I would do the same thing for you too. Yeah, if I do it for my own mother, hell yeah. Like you damn right for my people. Yeah. And I feel proud and I feel good to say that shit. Hold on, I'll be back. Hold on, let me go in here. Okay, yeah, that's what I try to do. I try to sound it out. Yeah. It's just that, you know what I'm saying? But I have actually came a long ways. I have so many books here that I read and I go through and stuff like that. I learned a lot over the years and stuff. Way before the social media and stuff, I used to have them on tape recorders. I would go to the store, like dollar store, and buy tapes and stuff. And I would have my family members as a tape and put words on tape for me. And I would take and sit right there and listen to it and follow along with the stuff for hours and hours at a time. I would sit there for like 2, maybe 3 hours, maybe 30 minutes, and just sit there and listen to something. Rewind it back, listen to it over and over, rewind it back and listen to it over and over. And that's what really helped me a whole lot. Hold on, I'll be back. I'll be back. All right, y'all, I made it back. I had to go in there and use the bathroom. Yep. Let me turn the camera back on. Okay, let me turn it back on. Yeah, I had to go in there and use the bathroom, man. I have patience now, so it's okay. I just think your conversation is very real, and that's cool. I have patience now. Okay, when you refer to I have patience now, so it's okay. I just think you mean with pronouncing the name of the word, what was you like? Context it for me. Because you have to understand this here. One thing I learned, the Most High God, He don't call the qualified. God don't call the qualified. If you look at Moses, Moses doubted himself. He said, I'm not qualified for this. And the Most High said, who made your mouth? So you have to look at it like that. Yeah, see, and that's a perfect example. See, all these things is biblical. Anyway, you see what I'm saying? That's biblical. It's a prophecy that would happen. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. I come across words that I don't, like solid. Some of them be tricky or whatever. But I can pretty much I can read well. It's just that like a word like that. You know what I'm saying? I have to take my time with it and sound it out. But other than that, God, he don't call the qualified. Yeah, all the time he ain't gonna call the qualified. That's how that's how the most high. Cause look, I didn't even think. I didn't even think, man, I was so man, I can't even begin to tell you. If I told y'all how I really felt, you would never understand. I'm serious. Because I was so used to my mother being up and stuff, but I'm kind of immune to it. I got more used to it. I learned a lot of how to and I thank God for that experience. And a lot of time I question the most high. What is the can you tell what is the purpose of this here? Uh I was asking questions and stuff, and I mean that shit bothered me, man. I felt like a 2-year old crying behind that shit, man. I ain't gonna even lie. My other family, they did too. But man, that shit really, really broke me down, bro. Because I was so used to it being up and stuff. So when it happened like that, the things that she was doing, like taking care of business and stuff like that, when things collapsed in her life like that, it just took a whole total like that. And I'm like, I was even sitting up there saying, I'm not even that qualified to be in a position to be trying to take care of certain things like business and stuff, which I do. A mother always told me, she said, one thing about it, you knows how to spend and you knows how to stretch a dollar. I'm gonna say it like that. I said, well, when you've been home for so long and all your life and that's all you've been around, of course, yeah, you're gonna be definitely gonna be good at it, So, my mother, my mother really instilled a lot of good things in me, and that all credit do go to her, man. She always told me this too. She'll say, if you ever want to know who your real friends is, get down on a table and you can't do nothing for yourself. And I think about that now. You see what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, mama. Cause back then we was looking at it, like young, and we was like, oh yeah, right. I'm like, why is she saying this? And like, what is she? You're like, okay, just keep on living. So you're like, your ass gonna see sweet shit from honey and water. I am a Hebrew and Israelite of the tribe of Judah. Okay, that's right. Yep. Mm-hmm. That's right. Yep. I was trying to listen to make sure my mother. Okay, all right. She in that room there, so she able to sleep and everything. I had to make sure she was good. So I just come in here and do my little videos and blogs and stuff, and everything. But I told them people, I said, because them people in the hospital, they be trying to kill people in that, man. It's a conspiracy in that shit, you know? I said, no, hell no, you ain't gonna do you ain't gonna take my people because it was a lady in Norfolk Hammond Hospital that had just died, and that elderly woman up in the hospital. And I think that was me a further wake up call. You see what I'm saying? Sure did. I said, "Oh no, and I stayed up there the whole time, man. Hell, and I'm real proud of that shit too, man. To be in a position to where, but anyway, the unqualified, like I said, God, I'm not really all that qualified, and I was like, I don't understand what I don't understand. I was just talking to God, and I wasn't like trying to, like, sit up there and try to blame things on God. I wasn't trying to do that, but I guess I was going out of frustration, like, okay, what I'm trying to understand, why would you put me in a position I'm not really as qualified in that area? Why would you put me in a position to where things took a turn like this here? And I'm looking at it, I was just thinking crazy in my mind about it. You see what I'm saying? And I was like, if I'm God and I know that my child is not my child, let's say he's a child of God and I'm God. Let's just say that. And I'm knowing the condition that child is in. I will not, maybe I'm from the outside looking in, put that child in a position to think he can handle something that he don't understand and just put it out there like a flood. Now he don't know what to do. And I'm like, how can a God of the Bible do that to somebody that's not qualified for it? That's how, in my mind, a lot of thoughts was racing through my head like that. You see what I'm saying? And then I guess I had to think. I heard somebody speak on it. They say God doesn't call the qualified. He always hit calls the unqualified. I'm like, that's interesting. And then I went to thinking about Moses and stuff like that, And sometimes I'd be tempted to go back and think like, why would you do that? Why would you call somebody that? I mean, I would rather. Would you not? I wish you would have just prepared me for this. You see what I'm saying? But you sound like Moses to me because he felt the same. Yeah, because I honestly, I'm saying, God, what was the purpose of this here? Because I would be like, and I'm just gonna tell you the truth. I was just a few days ago. I was returning the business for the bill, let's say the rent, and how you have to write on that like money order or whatever, and the property manager stated, and I'm just using it for edification. This is not talking about nobody. I'm just using it for edification. They said that my writing is, I write like a 5-year-old, and it was like, by me not used to be in business and being in business. She said, I wrote the person's name on that and put their signature on that, but I was writing over the numbers on the say the check stub. I was writing over the numbers, and they came to me and they told me, they said, if you don't mind that it's not really going through because you're writing over them numbers, let me do it. At that point, I felt kind of embarrassed a little bit because I know where I came from. I'm like, damn, this shit is embarrassing. I said, shit, I'm about to get this right now. Because they wanted to do it themselves, but I said, no, I don't want them to feel like they need to do myself. Because if I don't get myself out of that handicapped situation, then I'm gonna remain in that. So I got to do something to help myself. So I said, well, let me write this stuff and make sure that I don't write over them numbers. Because when they put that money order or that check on that little thing, and they run it, they have like a little copy machine that goes through. They have to run it through a copy machine, I believe. And they said interferes. It sometimes it's hard for it to go through when you're writing over them numbers. And I didn't know that. So they brought it to my attention. I didn't feel good when I first heard it. I was actually mad with my damn self. And I got kind of embarrassed a little bit. I'm not gonna even lie. I felt mighty horrible when that person had to come to me and tell me, look, don't write over them numbers. But I'm glad they told me. You see what I'm saying? In a way. But that shit did not feel good. I'm gonna tell you that. Because I was so used to my mother taking care of all of the everything in the house. You know what I mean? And I used to be ashamed to come out and tell people I couldn't even read or write. I did. At first, when I was younger, I did. When I was in my 20s, if you would have met me in my 20s and teens and stuff, my mother, if she was able to, she'd tell you. I used to get offended with her when she used to be telling people like, yeah, he was born with brain damage and this and that and the third. And that used to, it used to kind of get to me. You know what I mean? It did. But now I can stand up. I'm 51 years old. I can stand up right now and I can tell the world, and they won't even. I won't even feel embarrassed. It won't. It don't really. I'm not ashamed of it no more. Is what I'm trying to tell you. I am glad you was humble and you took correction. That must have been when I said I accidentally wrote over them numbers over there. Because they see on that check stub, on that what you call the money order, they got numbers down at the bottom. They say if you write over them numbers, if you know what I'm talking about, it's gonna be hard for that check stub or that money order is to go through the machine. It'll go through, but it kind of be rejecting it like. And the person had to I said, well, they had to let me know. I said, you know what, they had. I can't really be mad about it too at all. I felt more weird, and I felt more funny, and I felt more bad, and I felt more disappointed with myself than I did anything. And I was frustrated, like, damn. But I knew that they had to tell me something because that's the only way I'd be aware of it. Because I was writing I'd be writing the words big, and I'd be writing over them numbers, and it was hard for that money order is to go through that machine to run to be able to do the transaction for the rent and stuff. And so the person came up to me and let me know. I said, okay, you know, and I was like, damn, okay. So I went on. I was pretty much mature about it, even though I was kind of mad at first. And I was more mad at myself, like, damn, shit. Like that. It's not too late for us to get straight. Wait, Yah. What is that? Yah? Yoyah? Yah? Is that what that is? Yah, all praises to Yah. That must be what you're trying to say, right? Yeah, man. Yeah, but you're looking at a man that had a poor education, and they put me in a special type of class, a slow learning class. Yes, I was there. Was I embarrassed for many days? Yes, I was. I was ashamed as hell. I was, I just it made. I didn't want to tell nobody that, because back then I said, nah, people make fun of you like that. You know what I'm saying? So you've done everything you can to try to act like you was a regular normal student. You know what I'm saying? When they had the playground and stuff, let people go out for recess. For back in the day, I said that we would go out with the regular kids, and I had to try to act and pretend like I wasn't a slow learner and I couldn't get it. But I felt kind of weird. You know what I'm saying? It felt weird coming up. So I struggled with that, but I overcame it though. It's more when we see the impossibility happen, when he used a person who people view as weak or not important. Yeah, that's right, man. Yeah, I've been there, man. I tell you, I've been there. It's more when we see the impossible happen. When he used a person who people view as weak or not important. That's true. And yeah, I struggled with that for a long time. I'm not ashamed to say the shit no more. Out of all the jobs that I had to have help getting the applications filled out. I ain't gonna lie about it. Years about 30, 20 years ago, I couldn't sit up here and say that. I couldn't even say it. Matter of fact, I think when I first started YouTube in 2013, I couldn't say that. I like, nah, I don't think I could say that. But when I went to get there, when I understood slavery back in 2018, when they started talking about blacks, Hispanics, Native American people went into slavery and they had to go serve the enemy, the white man on slave ships, and I'm like, oh, it's like it's almost like lights came on in my mind, like, damn, this is why the reason why this shit been happening the whole time then. And I'm like, well, maybe I don't know if I might be a Hebrew. I don't know. I'm like, and then as I kept hearing more, I said, wait a minute, this shit is resonating too much. And I'd be like, how you'd be like, wait a minute, say that again. Like, you'd be like, huh? And I would subscribe to the YouTube channels and I'd be like, damn, I got to hear more of this. I got to see if I fit this shit. I mean, fit this. Like, damn, what? I said, this shit making sense. They're talking about the white man. I said, maybe that's why we've been poor all our life. Because that's how I was thinking. Like, and you're like, nah, have you ever been like, wait a minute, it just sounds too familiar. You never heard it before, but it seemed like it just sounds familiar. Have you ever felt like that? How did you come to this walk? I saw videos back in 2018. At first, I heard of Hebrew Israelite, but I just thought it was a religion. And I said, I'm not subscribing to none of that white man's BS. I said, I'm not, that's bullshit. That's the white man's book. That's what I used to say back in 2018 and 2017, 2015, 2014 is when I actually left the Christian church. I used to be a Seventh-day Adventist, but I left it in 2014. I remember the day. It's like I can see that day when I walked out. And I walked out and I left. And around 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 4 years later is when I saw on YouTube, because I clicked on an Israelite video on YouTube in 2018. I said, no, I'm clicking off this shit, man. This is some white man bullshit. I don't want to hear all. I don't want. And then something told me, nah, don't click it out. Just keep watching the video. Just watch the video. Don't react like that. Just for a change. Just watch. Just hear them out. I said, all right, I'm gonna hear the video out. And I heard the video out, and as they was breaking down Esau, that's how I came into it. And I'm like, I started hearing things that I never heard before, and it started being breaking down. And I'm like, this is pretty interesting here. I didn't sit there and try to say God love and try to conjure up an argument or none of that. I just say, And I'm like, let me subscribe to this here. I ain't never heard nothing like this before. That's how my mind was running. And I just wanted to hear more of it. So I said I would subscribe and hit that notification bell. And every morning when they would post the bit one body, in the people that the one body Yahweh Shai would do Dallas, Texas Israelites would be on the streets with them signs and stuff. I would hear the notification pop up. And when I get up, I would see the new video. I said, oh, they put out a new video. Let me watch it. I would have my computer sitting right there on my bed. And when I hear the notification go off in the morning, I would wake up and look at the video and just sit right there and look at it. And that's how I actually educated myself to where I am right now. I said, the Apocrypha, what the hell is the Apocrypha? I'm like looking at it like, what is that? 2018, same time for me too. Oh, okay. All right. We twins. How did you come? Okay, okay. I had to help many people fill out applications and paperwork even. Well, like I said, I ain't gonna lie to you, I was there. I've been in those situations. I wish they wouldn't have happened that way, but hey, it happened that way. My mother told me that the doctors clamped my head too hard. When I was born, coming out, I was born with brain damage. She said the doctor, when they was taking me out of the womb, when she was having me, she would say that she would tell the story, all the testimony all the time. And I was kind of embarrassed when she would tell people that. But she told me, and I said, well, okay. And she said the doctor, when they was pulling on my head, they was pulling it too hard. And when I came out, I had a frown. They would pull on too hard and it damaged my brain. And I had a look like a frown on my face, like it was messed up. And my mom said, my dad looked at me when I came out the womb. She said that he said they fucked my baby up. He knew that they had to mess me up. He knew it. For some reason, he knew it. That's what she said. She said they done fucked my baby up. Just like they're talking about me. After studying a few weeks, I was hooked. Yeah. Because even though you know how you don't really know who you are as an Israelite, but you still can look like you feel like you can relate to it. It still sound familiar. I just didn't have a spirit to disregard it, or none of that. Yeah, and guess what else? I remember when I was staying. I don't think I ever told the story. I was staying with my mom when she was married to my stepdad. Uh, During that time, it was during the Christmas time. We were shooting firecrackers, right? To make the long story short, he would carry a gun, and I went out into his glove department, and I didn't know what I was doing. I grabbed the gun out of the glove department, and I thought I had it like this, but I didn't. I had the gun up. I pulled the trigger and shot the gun. The gun went off, and the gun went off, and the bullet hole went in the top. It was a hole in the roof of the car. It was like a hole in the top of the car on the inside. And I took and I hollered and throw the gun down and ran in the house and ran into my stepdaddy's lap. And at first, my mother was saying, "Listen at that boy." My stepdaddy was saying, "Listen at that boy out there shooting them firecrackers." And my mama was like, "Now he knows damn well that didn't sound like he know that didn't sound like no firecrackers went off. He know that boy went out there and got that gun or something like that. So I thought I had it like this. If I'd have had it like this, I wouldn't be here today. But so happened to thank God I had the gun up like this. Like this. It was up like I didn't even know what I was doing. And the gun accidentally just went up. Pew! It went off like that. You know what I'm saying? And I think about that shit to this day. Man, I was supposed to not even be here. It had been the Most High to protect me from that, man. I don't think I ever told the story. I feel kind of weird talking, saying it now, but I'm not too. It don't feel too bad that I know that I done gotten to a certain point in my life. You know what I'm saying? I think we all had them near. I think we all have had them near death situations. Yeah. Yep. So I thank God, bro. And I'm gonna say that to say this too. See, God know exactly what you're gonna do before you were born. He automatically know what's going on. He knew that this was coming up with the situation with what was going to happen to our mother, and he probably say, I'm ordained. This is what's going to happen. He going to be there to get to help this person through this here, and I am. You know what I'm saying? And I'm so happy to be part of this, to be suffering with her. I'm happy to be part of this suffering with her. Now, some people are like, that sounds crazy. Why would he go? You know, to be able to be to not only not see the person in pain, but go through the pain with the person. Because I told him, I said, Mom, you know, nothing to worry about. You know, I got you. So, you know, I don't want to look like I'm trying to like brag or nothing like that. But I'm thankful to be doing something good. It makes me feel good, bro, to do something good. That's all I'm gonna say. So, with that being said, I'm gonna get up out of here and I'll come back. Hopefully, this video can help somebody else that maybe them went through something, or maybe it was something worse. You know, yeah. So I'll be back, and they feel like they own you in the hospital. That's the video title. Shabbat Shalom. Now that's an easy one. I studied that one in the past. At first, I didn't even know how to say that one. And the Shalom, I didn't even know how to say that one. I just kept watching the videos and was listening to the brothers break down. I have an apocrypha right here. And I have, what's that other book? Babylon Temple of Two. It's in my bag up there. Mm-hmm. Now, this is when I used to be in the Seventh-day Adventist church, but I don't agree with everything in here. But I would say the vast majority. The only difference is they take all, they think that everybody's Israelites. You know what I'm saying? Because they'll break it down. They'll say the Gentiles who are not Israelites is able to come in under the new covenant, the new blood of the covenant of Jesus Christ, and able to, and I didn't agree with this. And because the new covenant is for the Israelites, you know, the same people. So I'm gonna get up out of here, y'all, and I'll be back. We'll talk some more a little later on.